Uh, Good morning, all colleagues. As the participant have reached half of yesterday session, we can start the session for today. Um, Today we have two separate class. This is data scientist class, and I hope you are joining the right class and can meet your expectation. Our first topic this morning is also about Python that will be presented our colleagues from Department of Statistics Malaysia, Miss Nur Huriatul Huda and Mr. Ahmad Nazmi will share the presentation. It is the same subject as yesterday, but we will be glad to hear the different experience from Department of Statistics Malaysia. As the trainer are already ready, I will give the floor to Ms. Nur Huriatul Huda. Please, the floor is yours.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to each and every one of you. Thank you ASEAN Stats for organizing this workshop. So today, myself, you can call me Nur or you can call me Nur Huda. Together with my colleague, Mr. Ahmad Najmi, we will share with you on data exploration using Python. Taking into consideration yesterday feedback, we try to leverage our content so that it can suit to the beginners as well as medium users. And we try to apply our materials according to statistics kinds of data. Okay. Next. Okay, today we shall share with you what you can do with Python, and I think we will elaborate further about this potential usage in Python during the hands-on, because as per mentioned by the speakers yesterday, there is a lots of things can be done with Python due to its features and good benefit in terms of easy to use, easy to learn, easy to read, maintain, have a broad standard library, including package inside Python, which you don't really have to do the hard code when you are doing analysis using Python. We will discuss about what the potential usage of Python in next hands-on session. Next. Okay, today we will cover on the introduction of Pandas, what is Pandas and basic syntax in Pandas. We will guide and share with you how to load data from various and command of format such as CSV, Excel format, HTML, JSON, and SQL. And then we will go to how to manipulate data using Pandas. Most probably, we will focus on the two series and data frame. And last but not least, on go to hands-on. Okay, this is also have been introduced to you yesterday by Mr. Uman, if I'm not mistaken. This is the basic package that we normally use in Python, which is NumPy, SciPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, and scikit-learn. As mentioned yesterday, NumPy is mostly is for numbering, data array. SciPy contain a wide array of numerical tools such as numerical integration, and also you can do interpolation. While for Pandas, actually the main unit for Pandas actually is about the data frame, which provide a data frame object along with a powerful set of method to manipulate the data. You can manipulate, filter, group, transform, and a lot more with Panda. You even can do the geocoding with the Pandas. Okay, and on the Matplotlib is basically visualization on plotting, graph, and so on. And this is will be shared with you by BPS on the next session. And the last one is scikit-learn. It's actually common machine learning algorithm. If you want to use for SVM models and whatnot, it's normally you can use via scikit-learn. Okay, next. Okay. In short, in brief, this is the this is the brief understanding the Pandas Io API, which will start with the input, how you input the data, you do the processing, how you call your data from external sources, the CSV, Excel, from open source such as website, how you convert it into information, and produce the output. Okay, this is the basic framework of using Pandas. Next. Okay, and for today's session, we will using a study case on data about country, population, area, GDP, continent, Independence Day, and some more with a few more data. So I understand that maybe most of us are a statistician, so this kind of data is maybe close to our heart to understand it better. Next. Okay, next we will go to load how, how you can load data from various format. Okay, next. Okay, as mentioned just now, we will see Mr. Ahmad Najmi will share with you on how you can read data from CSV, Excel, JSON, HTML, SQL, um, using Python. Because yesterday, I aware that a lot of question been asked how to read the data from various sources, your own machine, from URL, etc. Okay. Also Mr. Ahmad Najmi will guide you on how to load data from your local drive, from Google Drive, and also from GitHub. Okay, next. Skip this one. Next. Okay, whereby for Pandas, we will touch only on two things, on series and data frame, which is this already cover a lot of things that you can do with Pandas. In short, series is the first main data type that we will learn about Pandas. It's similar to NumPy, but the different NumPy from series is that series have a flexible axis labels, which means you can have an index using when you use Panda. I will explain about this further. And it's also not only hold numeric data, but it can hold any Python object. Okay, while for data frame, it's actually a structured data as per what you are seeing in Excel. We have a two-dimensional grid rather than it's similar to rather it's similar to relational database table except in memory. Okay. It's inspired directly from R, and actually it's similar to the Excel. If you can you are familiar with Excel, right? Okay, next. Okay, this is some useful references. In case you can refer later, you can go to this link, our website, to have some exploration, not only for Python, but also for R, SAS, and Tableau. Okay, so without further ado, um, let's us have some exploration, all the concept that I've briefly mentioned just now through hands-on. With that, I pass over this session to Mr. Ahmad Najmi. Thank you.
Hello, Assalamualaikum, and very good morning to everyone. I am Najmi. So today I will share with you how we can explore more using the data technology with the data that we have. Okay. First of all, I would like ask all of you to download this link. This link, bit.ly/tstream day03. Click to this link first. And then we go through. Download to your local drive. If you have knowledge in terms of Google Drive, you can upload to your Google Drive. Maybe I can paste it to chat. Everyone also can use the link from the chat box. Let me know if everyone already download the file. Extract it. Maybe you can respond. Yes, I do. Yes, I done. We wait for 2 minutes more. I'm sure that most of you already have the extension for the Google Colab, right? If you have difficulty to download the file, maybe you can use this link directly, right to the Google Colab. The sharing file actually we attach together with the data. Never mind, we can use this link first and we proceed. Everyone is good, right? Okay, let's start here. You can use the link here, collect.researchgoogle.com from the chat box. As been mentioned by Miss Huda previously, Python is a fun game for all of us. We can apply everything, like most everything in problem, the life problem to the code environment. For example, you can see here how fun is Python if you can access the validation of Python from here. This is simple code that has been pasted to the collect platform. To that, the age required the input of your age. If the age is more than 80, then we print allow the access. The age is less than 80, we not allow the access, or we print the invalid age. How to run it? As you know, you can click the play button here, or you can use the short key, which is shift enter your keyboard. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You're asking what is your age? For example, I state here is 25. So if more than 80, then the access we print, yeah, access is low. But if we run again, and we input the age is 16, and the system we print access is not low. So this example or this function can be used to a lot of interface or user mobile platform to make sure that they can manage what kind of user can be accessed to one platform. So the next example is BMI. So, okay, for BMI, in here we already copy and paste, and I think all of you also can try an error what this code is all about. The weight and the height. Float is represent the format of the data that we input later from the input code. The kilogram and meter. Here we are using kilogram and meter. Make sure it's not centimeter. So we try to run first the input. You can have it. The input for the meter, for example, I state here about 1.6 maybe meter. And for the kilogram, it will be about 60. So we can get the ideal body mass, the body mass index, which is 3.4. So that's one of example that how fun that Python can be used in our daily life. Now I proceed with the understanding of the Pandas Io or input and output. Before that, I would like to remind all of you that I will cover this session about 55 minutes, and then we will take a break about 10 minutes. Yeah. So for the Pandas IO API, Pandas IO API is allow you to save the content of series or data object to the clipboard object or file of various types. It also enable the loading data from the clipboard object or file. This one is already explained by Mr. Theory part. This is the example what code can be used to save the file from the data frame to the CSV format, the Excel format, and other format. For example, read the JSON and save the JSON, save to the HTML formatted, and also to the SQL For this session, I will not cover the Pico format because it's not naturally used in our practice. So we cover until the SQL format. Yeah. Then we will go through the preparation data, as mentioned by Ms. Huda from the slide. This tutorial is actually, we use the data that collected from 20 countries. It's an overview of data, data and source that we are working with. Country is donate the country name, which country in the top 10 list of the population, if their GDP, and we will label with three code. And for the population, it is expressed in million with data of list of the country, dependency by the population from the Wikipedia. Okay, for the area, it express the kilometer square of the country, Also, we take from the Wikipedia, and the gross domestic product or GDP express the million in US dollar. This according from the UN 2017. Okay, for the continental, either Africa, Asia, and all of this. Okay. For dependency date, the date is the Commonwealth of Nation independent. Data is come from the list of national independency day from the Wikipedia as well. Okay. This is roughly what's the scenario that we have for run this. Okay. For first task, the Pandas library offer the wide range of possible for saving the data file or loading the data from the file. We will learn more about the working of the SQL and Excel file. So you see that this type of file, it is a JSON file. Actually, the JSON file is, don't be surprised we start with the JSON file because I would like to make sure that all of you will carry the same data that I use here. Okay, the JSON file is a abbreviation from the JavaScript object notation. This is a data format used for representing the structured data. You can see it clearly. The command transmit the received data between the server and the web application in Java format. In Python, JSON exists in string. This type of data is called in string actually. The Python JSON also can be converted to the dictionary format. So from here, we create the name of data JSON from the Java object. Run it, and we name the column name for the table here, which is country, top, area, GDP, continental, and independent. Run first. It happen. So what we can do then, go to the next code. Now we use the data frame construction of the data to create the data frame. This is the naturally simple way that explain what's this behind, which is start with the input the data, interpret, and we come up with the output. So what happen here is what we call the Pandas package, and short form it into PD, and call the data in DF form. Yeah. See, we can get the simple data from the JSON format to the table type of format in Panda data frame. But we can read clearly from the left side to the right side because it's limitation on this space. So to make sure that we can read everything because it's in horizontal way, we can transform it with adding the point dot t to transform, refer to the transform of the table. And run it straight away. See? Yeah. Now we can see all the data very clear. This side is the code, the code for the country, the column population area, GDP, and then that next, what we can do with the data. You have the different platform to maybe to analyze, to display the data in the proper way. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, five method to transform this data to the preferable format. First, we can convert it to CSV, which is a cross-platform for the programming. Also, we can transfer it to the Excel format. Other than that, we can convert back to the JSON format for the mobile or data sharing. And also, we can transfer it to the HTML. For your information, if we have the convert it or save it to the HTML format, we can open it directly from the browser. See here. First, we can run. Yeah, right. The data to the CSV is done because I put here print. When it's done, we print the right to CSV done, site is done, JSON and HTML. So where we can have this kind of file. First, you can go to the left side of your screen. You can see the folder icon here, file icon. Click that. Now you can see all these four data. If you like to use this data directly to the other word, you can click the three dot here. For example, the TXT file. Click here and download. Or you can where and then go here. Show what? Yeah, everyone can see, right? When we download each now, we can see the data in browser directly HTML. Same goes to the other format, CSV, Excel, and so next we proceed with the CSV file. What CSV file can do? Get a new data. Okay. This one, DF in memory form, they already store the DF or data frame in the memory. So the platform or the connect already know DF is equal to the data that is. So if we like to rename the data, the new file for this data, we can use this code. If I put here a new data CSV and A for the missing, non-missing. And I specify here the separator for this file is semicolon. And header is for new data. Yeah, we have a new data. The same data that we established from the first. So far, everything okay. Yeah? So we proceed with the Excel file. Same goes to the Excel file. Okay, for the Excel file, try to convert it to the Excel file with the sheet name is and the name of new data. Fresh. Yeah, see, the new data or Excel. With optional parameter. Okay, then this one condition that we try to have the loop. An optional parameter start row and start column both default to 0 and indicate the upper leftmost cell where the data will start as begin writing, and the table should start in third row and dominate by fifth column by 4, this is 0 basis index. That's what we can, some of the condition we get the data or reporting in the like extend to the spacing, not in the 0 or AA column in Excel. So this is one of solution that we can shift the data and make it in Pandas data frame. Okay. The same data we come. So far, you can do with indicate the sheet number, or sheet number here is 0, either using the sheet name. Come up with different, similar result. Yeah, because we use the new data. And then proceed with the JSON part. JSON do different orientation of the indent and how they print the data. First is a standard format, the indent of orientation index, record, stick. This is actually the different kind of style to print the JSON. And then, yeah. Okay, can you hear me? Hello, testing. Whole list. Okay, for the HTML file, for the HTML file, we need to put the other format. Simple to the testing 1 2 3 testing. Everyone can hear me?
Yes, that clear.
Okay. Okay, then we proceed with the SQL file. SQL file is actually the database format of the file. Database is systemic collection of the data which support the storage and manipulation of the data. Database make the data management more easier. There's many type of the SQL or database. For today, I will describe how we can use the data SQL like database to been used in our tutorial. Okay. Then we start with installation of the package first. Type installation of SQL Alchemy. Yeah, maybe next, install the package on the server. Ask them what to do. First, call them from the Alchemy import create engine. Okay. Engine equal to create engine SQLite, and this is your database name. Maybe you can put anything. For example, I change here to those EB. So we run the function. Okay, now the system already noted that we try to create one of the database in SQLite, and then we call the previous data, first. Then we will integrate this data, the data frame data from the Pandas into the SQLite database. This is the data that you already previously here. Yeah. Call the data.cst into the SQLite DB. Then save it to df save to is the connection from the local PC of Google Colab to the SQLite. And then we are done. What's next? How to make sure, how to read the SQL data in DB format into the system or into the Python platform, or maybe in the Google Colab. Because as you know, there is many type of Python platform, which is Jupyter. We have the Spider, we have Julia, we have Jupyter Lab, and many more. Most of the
platform now already familiar or already friendly with the Python. So now call it wrong thousand dB. Call it. See, we already have the same data as we used from before because the DB data we expecting the more larger data from the data sample. But for this session, we will have the small data first, and let's see what we have done. And maybe you at the same time you also can use your own data to go through with this. Yeah. So it goes to this one, country area. Side. 1,000. Yeah, see, we filtered it into two columns, which is column, country and area. With this simple, yeah, you can copy paste to any Python platform that you use. Okay, we have done with the simple data. Now we proceed with forming how to load the data from your local drive, how to load data from your Google Drive, and also how to load data from the free open source link. For example, is GitHub. For the GitHub, they actually limited the file is less than 25 MB. I'm not sure about it. Maybe we can try with the larger data. Load data from the local drive. First, you have to call the Google Colab function, which is one step more than the other platform, which we are familiar with, which is Jupyter. For this Google Colab, you need to add these two lines to make sure that the system already know where the file that you okay. Please file.
Is it only me or other participant experience the same
Me
that
also.
the
Me also.
audio of Ahmad is lost?
Hello, everyone can hear me?
Yes. Yeah, I can hear you right now.
Maybe it's an issue on the other side. From the local drive. Share with the This is actually limitation of Google. Right? We can have it. Run the Google Connect file. Just try it from any file. Right the data file. Next. Choose the file. Then we can call back the file with the same.
Mr. Nachmi,
Yeah, we can
we
hear.
lost your audio again.
Are you hearing me right now?
Yes, it's clear. Maybe the microphone is too far,
Okay.
so we cannot hear you.
Maybe I try.
Maybe at the particular moment.
Hello, testing. You can hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
maybe
can
I
hear
need to
you.
hold it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we run this step first using the call the import data, import IO, and we already specify which type of file that we want to use. For this step, we use the Excel file. If you upload the CSV file, you need to use the other step. The next step is CSV file. Okay. Run it and call the data frame. So see, you can get the data from your local drive. Same goes to the other format. Just you need to change the file name with the file format. Yeah. And also in here, it's referring to the previous node in here. Here, which is if you call for JSON file, we need to read JSON. If you call for the HTML file, you need to read the HTML. And if you use the SQL format, you can call the read SQL. Here. Everyone clear? Is there any
Yes,
problem
now
with
we
the sound?
can hear you.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Any question so far?
So far, I can follow the step.
Yeah, easily, yeah. Okay, then we proceed with the look the data from the Google Drive. This one, you need to familiar with the Google Drive function. Okay. We have two ideal way here, which is through the code or through the UI that you already have in here. For example, so we try with this code first, yeah. And the google.collab import drive. This is the ready code that has been inside the Google Colab. Yeah. File and drive. Now drive. Run the Colab. So the request for your authorization code, you need to click the blue link here, hyperlink first. Click link and create your authorization account, Google account. Yeah. Yeah. You can see my slide right now, yeah?
Yes, you can
Yeah.
see.
Authorize first. And copy the code here. Copy and paste, enter your authorization code here. Control B. And enter. So then the Google Connect already allow us to use the drive from our drive. So go to this one, the next one. If you use the Google Drive folder, you can scroll from here. There's appear a new icon, which is Google Drive icon on your left upper left side. Click this icon. Run first. Just the same. Remounted. The drive folder. Ready, my folder. So you can see everything in here. Same goes to yours. If you already upload some data to your Google Drive, you can drag it into the Google Colapse. For example, just try. I try to get this one. Maybe HTML file, this one. Click to the three dot here. Copy the path. Copy path here and paste it in here. The whole thing. Control V. So we get the path from the Google Drive or the Google Colab Store. So this one you need to change to CSV. CSV. Read CSV and read the file, the path. And then you get the DF bonus directly, the same file that we use. Easy, right? But you need to try and error with your data first. And then this one, I will use the GitHub link, which is the public link. From that, the easy way is we link the CSV file from the GitHub repository. Then we click the data set of your repository from the view raw, and then we copy the link of the file into and get into the data frame. For example, we copy this link first. Copy this link. Okay. Run. What we have here is Malaysian election result for Malaysia. So to make it easier, we can use the CSV file. Yeah, CSV file. What you want to use? Maybe the state level or the home to data. The state level, I mean, state level. Click the state level, and then we click the raw data here, the raw icon. Set to blame. Okay, click the raw data, and then we copy the URL link here. Copy the link here, and paste it back to URL that provided here. Because previously I tried to use the home to data CSV. This one we try to use the state. Okay, the same thing. Just you can select which URL you want to use and make sure that the format at the end is CSV because we try to call the CSV. We run it. And for D1, so we can get the whole data of this URL. the same one. Back to same one with this. Yeah. Okay. This is some magic from the Google Colab that not available in the other platform, which is the table form that you can filter everything in one line. So from here, we already called the df previously, df data. What we can do is, we can try percentage symbol, load exit data, and collect data, score table. Let's see what we can get, run it. See, different view. But one thing that is special, you can click the filter here and you can filter directly what kind of data you like to know more. For example, for country, you like to know about Russia, and you extract to Russia. If you like to have the population from 60 million to maybe 160 million, and then filter directly what data you want to see. Same goes to the area, GDP, and also the country. This tools is very good and very help us to put everything inside. And next. Next, I will cover how we can work with the big data. Right? What we can we done here. First, we import or install the package or any module to collect, and make sure that Google Colab know and know the module or know the package first, and then we call it and make a comment to make sure it functions. First, you can run this function, import package, and data is impossible for us to print the whole data set. So we can sneak a peek of the data from using this line, read the head of the data set. It's only 2 rows. See, 2 rows of the data. So we can see that the China and India from the first 2 rows. If we run the full set of data, maybe your local PC or your machine will be hanged. Yeah. Okay, and then next we create the database. Same goes to the first how we create the SQL part. Yeah, this part, what we simple way, which is, for example, we have about 100,000 of row of the data, so we can turn it into 1,000 to make it easier to the system only. First, we create the database, the index column or drop data. It's very rename the drop in the big data. One, see, 20 only, 20 row, not 40. Mistake. Okay, next. No one can hear me? No one can hear me? Yeah. Okay, how to update the data? Since we already have the database for this data, now we have incoming data with the same column row, content, but the extra in terms of the maybe the other country that is not being listed here. So we want to update the data. A simple way is update the data, call the CSV. From here, I try to call the same data because show it. So if you have the other data that's similar with this, you can dig into the database. First, update the
Hello, sir. Your voice is lost.
okay. Hello, testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Yes, no, it's okay, but not too clear.
Not so clear.
I think a lot of breaking noise.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Yeah, now it's okay.
Back. Okay. Then connect the data. Yes. Connect the connection. Right. And like and it into the table name. So from here, you can call back the table name that contains. Now you have yeah. SQL SQLite database is already updated. Same goes to the other update. You can call the data and append it together. I think that's all from me. It's all set to cover the look how to the data. Hello.
Mr. Natsmi, you lost again. Yeah, there is very often that your voice is lost,
Yeah.
and there is a lot of noise. Maybe there is interfere between your microphone with other device.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing. Hello.
Yes, we can
Yeah,
hear
can hear
you.
you.
But is it possible to check because there is noise on the background when you're talking?
Oh, still nice.
Yeah, it's crackle.
Still crackle?
Now it's better.
No,
But
it's better.
sometimes we heard, sometimes
You lost.
we lost. Yeah.
But actually, my part already done. So this is the extra part.
Now we can hear you
Yeah, can
clearly.
you? But it's okay. You can ask anything. But this is extra bonus part. You can here. Click the link here. You can see this is a random pick of the data. Actually, from the Google Colab, you can call any type of image and put inside the Google Colab. So easier to you to refer it. Maybe this kind of method will be shown by Ms. Suda after this. And this is the simple code how to call the picture into the Google Colabs. Yeah. Is there any question? Maybe before I close everything and my session. Sorry for the technical error. No, yeah. So for that, after this we take a break about 10 minutes maybe, and then we continue with Miss Oda. Is it okay?
Okay.
Okay.
So we are going to take 10-minute breaks.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Um,
Okay, the break is over. Uh, Miss Nurhuda, are you ready to continue?
Hi, can you hear me? Is it clear
Yes.
or has any echoes?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Can we continue?
Yes, sure, you can continue.
Okay. All right. Okay. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning again. Today, right now, we are going to have a second. Okay, right now we are going to do some hands-on. Just now you already learned on how to import the data using various of sources. Just now I already share with you the link for the hands-on using Pandas. To avoid any interruption to the files, I encourage you all to go to the files and save a copy in your own drive. So later on, when you try to run the script, it will not disturb others. If you have a problem doing this, please let me know. If let's say I already clicked the save a copy in a drive, it will open to new copy sheet under my own drive. If you guys are ready, I shall start now. Okay. Theoretically, and also practically, in Pandas, we should please let me know if you can't hear my voice or anything else. Yeah. In Pandas, we should there is this kind of simple this kind of features available in Pandas. Just in case you are not have enough time to cover all the features, you guys can refer to this reference link to access all the materials also. Okay. Now we shall continue. Just in case the way you install Python doesn't have pandas, you can use this syntax to have pandas in your Python. But right now, since we already without the exclamation mark, okay. It depends on which Python you're using. If you're using Jupyter Notebook, you need these things. If you're not, if you're using Visual Studio Code, you only need pip install pandas. It depends on which type of pandas that you're, which type of Python that you're using. Okay, so first, before we run anything about pandas, we need to import pandas. And since the pandas name is too long, we can assign it to PD, import pandas as PD. So later on, when we call any function using pandas library, we just call by PD. Okay, you can click run. Okay, as I mentioned just now, in pandas, the glamour with popular with two things, series and data frame. Okay, we run just now, pandas and numpy. We can convert a list, numpy array or dictionary to a series. For examples, I have this type of data. Labels equals to ABC, my list 10, 20, 30, array, numpy array, and dictionary, D for dictionary. A equals to 10, B equals to 20, C equals to 30. Let's run these things. And when you print the label, when you print all the list, you will get the results. And if you run list, it will only display one output. But if you run two things together without putting a print in front of the assigned name, Pythons will read only the last value, the last value that you call. If you put print, they will print everything. Okay. Okay. Then using list, you can convert list, as mentioned just now, you can convert list, numpy, and array to series. Okay, what you need to do is only call the pd.series and you call for the data that you want to convert to series. For examples, we want to convert data list to series. Just now, list is only mentioned as the output for list is only 10, 20, and 30, right? When you convert it to series, what is the difference? The difference in series, Pandas series, you have an index. That's the specialties about Pandas. Um, the index in Python will start with 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. But don't worry, we can change the index according to the name, the needs that we want to, according to the suitability of our data and analysis. I'll show you later on. Okay, next, if you want to change, just now, my list, you by default it will give you 0, 1, 2. But if you assign index as labels, just now your labels is A, B, C, right? So Pandas will assign, instead of 0, 1, 2, it will become A, B, and C for 10, 20, and 30. Okay, for NumPy's array, if you only run for array, it will give you array list in this format. If you once you change it into Pandas series, they will come with a index, and you can reassign 0, 1 to index to labels as well. Same goes to the dictionary. Okay. All right. For real case examples, the key using a series to understand the index. For series 1, hold on a second. The network is quite slow, sorry. Okay, it's done. And you run line number 114, and it's okay. If you call for series 1, it will give you the index based on US, Germany, USSR, and Japan, with the values of 1, 2, 3, and 4. Same goes to the series 2. Okay. Remember just now I told you that index will begin with 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. But since we assign it to the name, we reassign it to US, German, etc. When we call series equals to 1, it will call the series 1 equals to location 0. It will go and give us output for USA. For series 2, if we call for position 3, it will give you 1, 0, 1, 2, and 3, and it will give you value for Japan. Yeah, okay, because the index is 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, in Pandas you can do the simple operation to combining two that series, which but it was only combined for data which have from both from series. Okay, for examples, we don't have Italy in one of the series, so it will return to none value. Okay. Okay, next we go to data frame. One basic structure that you get with Pandas is a data frame, which is two-dimensional grid, rather similar to relational database table, except in memory. Okay. Let's say you are using random number. I call for random number. Okay, and p.random. When .sit 101, meaning that each and every one of us who run the data will call for the same number. Or else, since we call for random number, it will keep on generating different number every time we generate. But since I put .sit, you can put any number inside. .sit bracket. So every time I generate random number, it will give me the same random number. It will lock the random number by using the .sit. Okay. Just in case you guys are wondering, what do we have in np.random, the function within the Pandas package? You can always call for the document with this syntax, question mark, np dot whatever function that you are using. For example, right now we want to understand what is np.random. You always can do the question mark np.random, and it will appear on your right side the documentation about the np.random. Normally, on at the bottom of the documentation, it will guide you on what is the argumentation that you should have in order to run the function. Okay. Next, selection and indexing. How to grab data from a data frame. For examples, we have a column W with index A, B, C, D, and E. We want to call for column W, we simply can call for data frame and call for the name W. And it will give you the whole column list of W. Okay. But if you call for W and Z, what will you get? Yes, you will get both W and Z column. Okay. But okay, you also can check what is the data type for W and Z that we for the data frame that we generate just now by only type the type data frame W. Okay, and it will show you that you are using series data. Okay, what if we do the operation, we generate a new column for the data frame just now. We just assign a new column name, new. Then I just randomly put an as operation. The element under the new column name new is the summation of W and Y. Okay. So you can have a new column named new, which is the element, the variable, the elements inside is new column new is W and Y, W plus Y. Sorry. Okay. Next. Sorry, it's a little bit hang here. Okay. You also can remove the column by using the function name drop. Okay, for example, you want to delete the new column that you just generate just now. You just call for the data frame that you call df.drop, the column that you want to drop, and put axis into equals to 1. Axis equals to 1 is actually referring to a column, while axis equals to 0 is referring to rows. Okay, but when you run for df, the data frame just now, the new column is still exists, right? It's not permanently deleted from memory. If you wish to delete it permanently from the memory, you need to include this extra instruction, in place equals to true. Okay, and now the new column is totally removed. All right, see, it's totally removed from the memory. Okay, okay, and also I show you if you want to remove the rows, then you also use the drop function, remove E, for examples, and put axis equals to 0. Okay, and now the E rows is removed, but it's not permanently removed, as I'm not include the in place equals to true. If you want to permanently remove it, just simply put the in place equals to true. Okay, next rows. Just now we have rows A, B, C, D, and E, column X, Y, Z, W, X, Y, Z. And if you want to find for location for A, selecting a variables under location of A, it will give you all values under rows A with all column W, X, Y, Z for rows A. Okay, you can also select based on position instead of calling for label A. For examples, you call for column number 2, 0, 1, and 2. Sorry, it's index, okay? 0, 1, and 2, C. Okay? If you put this syntax, it will give you on column location at position number 2, 0, 1, and 2. You can try to run it. And it will give you at position 0, 1, and 2 at column base. This function it will give you at row base. Okay. Another examples, B and Y. Specifically want to have a B and Y. It will give you this value. Okay. What if you run for A, B, W, Y? It will actually give you a matrix of AW, AY, BW, and BY. Okay. So let's move to another example. If we have this kind of data, is everyone can follow me? Am I going to class?
Personally, I can.
Yes,
Okay.
follow you.
Okay.
All right, good, great. Okay, so next is for the examples. For the next example, we have data list for data which have a variables of state, year, and population. Ignore the validity of the number. I just simply put the number. Okay, and you create the data frame, and it will give you state, year, and population with index start with 0 up to 6. You can rearrange the column instead of state, year, and population by just rearrange it using a column function. And it will rearrange your data frame. Okay. Adding, you also can add new column. Let's say tab column run. Okay. Right now you already have a new column called depth. Okay. So this is right now the new column that we have for frame 2. If we call frame 2 for state, it will list down all the state number based on index number for all rows. We already assigned our index to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 instead of default 0, 1, 2 up to 6. Okay. If you call for frame 2.year, it will give you all the year list. If you call for location 2, it will give you all the under location 2, rows 2, which is referring to this particular output. Okay. This is just another example. You can run it. I believe you guys understand about this function already. Okay, but if you look at the frame 2, the value for new column is not listed, right? So we can assign value to the we can assign value for depth. So let's say you just assign it depth equals to 16.5, it will give you 16.5 for every rows, the same numbers. If you want to arrange it between 1 to 7, when you call for 7, it will start with 0 and 6. Or if you want to assign with any numbers, you can list it right like that. Okay. So just in case you want to check if Jakarta is in frame 2, we try to. Okay, so it will give you a false statement. Okay. So now let's move to use case exercise. We will use the same data as per mentioned by Najmi just now with the country, continent, etc. Okay, you don't have to re-import the numpys and pandas as you already import it on top of this exercise. Okay, you can call from your local drive. I believe you already download the Google Drive that Najmi shared with you just now. Okay, you choose files. For this first example, I'll choose data2. Okay, and you have the data. Tak ada data. Okay, you will have all the data. Okay, if that's the syntax if we run from Google Colab. But if you run from your own machine, you just simply can use this syntax. Simple. Okay, to check the data, if you have a million rows of data, it's very impossible for you to list down the data. You can call if you just want to see top 5 of the data. By default, if you run df.head or df head is on the top, df.tail is from the bottom. By default, it will give you 5 rows. But if you wish to have more or less, if let's say you want to have less, you only want to have for 3 rows, then you just simply put 3 and it will give you 3 rows data only. You can check the data type for each of the column by using the syntax df.datatypes, dtypes, and it will give you data types for each and every column. And if you call for df.shape, it will give you the first numbers is rows and the second one is referring to column. So for df, you have 20 rows and 6 columns. Okay. Hold on a second, I'm not sure why it's hanging. Okay. If you want to check if there is any null value in your data, so you can use a function pd is now df. Okay. Now, if you want to create new data frame from the original df, the original df stand for data frame, and you want to only select a few columns that you want, then you can assign to new data frame. I assign it as new df. You can put any name as you wish. And let's say we just only to view country, population, continent, and independent day. And yeah, we already have only 4 columns. If you notice that for Russia at rows 8, the continent is empty, no value for Russia because Russia have 2 boundaries, Asia and also Europe. Sorry. So you can assign it by fill NA for the NA value for Russia. Okay. And now for rows 8, it's already give a value of transcontinental. Okay. But if you run new df1, the value for Russia for continent is not changed, right? So remember just now I told you if you want to change things permanently, we put in place equals to true. Okay, so right now Russia already have transcontinental in your data frame. Okay. And also, of course, you can check on the data types or shape and whatnot. Okay, next, if you notice, there's various ways of their writing the date, right? The Independence Day. Actually, it's referring to Independence Date for each of the country. So, we can use the pd.toDateTime format. If you are unsure what is the argument, how to write it, you always can call for the document by $pd dot the function name, and it will guide you everything about the function. Okay, for this tutorial. Okay, let's reassign the date into date and time. So right now it's a synchronized format, same format for each of the country. But notice that we have a few country with missing value of the date. We already discussed about how to fill the NA for each rows. You can just recap again for the if you want to fill it with the same value, you just put one value. For example, fill NA for the timestamp, today's date, 30th April 2021. So for all the missing value just now, it will give the same date as you only sign one date. Or if you simply don't want to give any date, you just can put no date. Okay. Below is only the other ways of writing the value. Okay. Next, I would like to shows about on how to concat the data to have to merge two data frame. Let's call for data tree. Okay. If you notice that I have an extra code here, encoding equals to Latin 1. What happen if you are not having this thing to certain data set? Actually, sometimes, especially if you copy from the internet, it will have some kinds of error. Normally, it will give you an UTF-8 error code. Normally, it's due to the special character in the alphabet. For certain countries, the way they are writing their names is different, like got curly something. So you can always, actually, if you not sure what to encode, you can always copy the error to Google and ask for help. Okay. Same, you check for the data type. If you notice the cases and death, it should be number, right? But Pandas detect it as object for cases and death. This might be due to certain rows data have others than numeric data type. So Pandas will simply assign everybody into object for cases and death. Okay, because this data is quite many rows, 220 rows with 4 columns. But if we want to do some calculation on the data, we need to have this in float or integer. So what you can do, you can change the data type using the S type. You want to have S type as float or integer. You can simply change it using this syntax, S type. Okay. And now the data types is changed into float. Okay. And this is the number. Oh, sorry. This one is the data frame, the original one. Okay. The number. Okay. I just want to recap that from the first data frame, right now, okay, next we want to merge these two data frame. But before that, the first data frame is, the header is on capital letter, right? Whereby the second one is lowercase. So you can change it, you can standardize it. It's up to you whether you want to make it capitalized for each word or you want simply to capitalize everything. You can use the syntax of string str.capitalize, str.upper. If you want to change it everything to lowercase, just str.lower. Okay. If you want to check it again, also no problem. Data frame 1, you have 220 rows, while for data frame, you have 20 rows with 6 columns. Okay, Pandas provide a single function we call as merge. Okay, merge combining data on common columns or indices. Okay, you can achieve both by many to one or many to many by joining with using merge function. Okay, I think this is a simple statistic that everyone already know. This is an inner join, left outer join, right outer join, and outside is outer join. When gluing together multiple data frame, we have a choice. So whether we want to inner join, outer join, left or right. Okay, if you unsure what I'm talking about, as usual, we can go and check what is pd dot merge. Okay, and it will give you a guide on what it's all about. On bottom of it, always have an example how to use this function. Okay, let's say we go and merge data frame 1 and 2. So by default, if you not assign on how to merge it, whether left, right, inner or outer, by default Pandas will give you inner merge, which only match data, which is just now data frame one you have 220 rows, whereby data frame you have only 20 rows, but only 18 rows are matched. So it's only give you 18 rows of data. Okay. Okay, 18 rows, and it combine all the column. Why only just first data frame you have 6 column, second you have 4 column, we should have 10 column, right? But why we only have 9? Because they have one column in common, which is country. Okay. Okay, if you notice from the data, I think I missed something here. For continent, the way they're writing North America as N.America while South America as S.America. We can replace it with full name as North America and South America respectively by using dot replace function. Okay, so let's test it. And now, sorry, this is the original one, not the merge. Okay. Let's do. Let us rerun these things again to replace North America. Okay, yeah. Now it's already changed to North America. I think I wrongly put the syntax. Okay, the position. Okay. Let's try if you use how equals to left or right. Left mean you you merge the data based on left data set, which is first data set, which is DF. It will merge based on DF. If you change how to right, it will merge data based on DF1. See, for the first one, first country is China. So it first data frame, first country is China. So everything will merge according to first data frame rows. If you go to the right, it will merge according to DF1, which started with United States. Okay, if you just simply concatenate the data, DF1 and DF, it will just add up everything. It did not try to find the match country and whatnot. It just concatenate everything. Okay. So now let's try to append the data. Let's call for data 4. With some additional column. Some additional rows. We have additional members of Egypt, Germany, Iran, and Turkey. And if you try to append it, you try to append data frame 2. You don't have to sort it. ignore the index value, so it will remain 0 up to the total number. So you will have, instead of just now we only have 20 up to Kazakhstan. Right now we already have another 4 countries: Egypt, Germany, Iran, and Turkey, by using dot append function. Let's move to group by. Okay, just recall for first data frame, and the second one, okay, and the third one. Okay, you have 3 different data set, right? Okay, for the first one, we have country, population, area, GDP, continent. Where the second one, we have country, cases, death, and region. If you notice that continent and region actually referring to the same thing. Okay, let's try to fix it first. Just if you want to group by based on region, you can use dot group by function, which column you want to use a group by, and what function you want to sum them. It's more like a pivot function in Excel. If you want to change it to min, also can. Okay, then the number is referring to min value instead of sum value. If you want to change into count, also can. If you unsure what function to put, you always can go to documentation. Okay, let's do for the continent, and this is the value for the continent. Okay, we already replaced North America and South America already replaced, so I don't run this function. Okay, if since the labels is different, one is continent, one is region, we can rename one of the column to what we want. Let's say for these examples, I want to change continent into region. Just simply use a syntax dot rename. Okay. And right now, you only have one column called region. You don't have both region and continent. Okay. Okay. Next, let's move into binning, or to assign data into range. Okay, data binning is actually a bucket group. In the sense we want to put the data into range. For examples, in this data we have GDP. We have various numbers of GDP according to the country, and we want to put into range less than 1005 equals to low income, and as you can see on the screen. So we can use pd.cut function and bin function to regroup this number of GDP. For example, I'm using this syntax in space. Okay, using this function, I'm using for the minimum GDP and maximum GDP and regroup to 4 income group. As here we have 4 income group, so I assign to 4 income group, and it will calculate for us to reassign all the GDP based on minimum and maximum value. But if you look at these things, it's not as per group that we want. Okay. You can move this to, you can move this below if it's very difficult to scroll up and down. Okay, so it's actually not really referring to for examples, for the second one, 2,575, it's not under lower income, right? It should fall under lower middle income, so we can't use this method for this assigned group. What you can do next is, Okay, let me show you how to check for GDP minimum number using just .min and .max for you to find it. You can use this syntax pd.cut. You assign the float numbers to the group that you want. Let's move these things below so that you don't have to scroll it. Okay. You can use float inf refer to infinity. You assign to the minimum bin for each of the group 1036. Oh, sorry, I think I'm using the wrong picture. It's okay. You always can change it. 5. 1806. Okay. Good. Oh, salah. Tak ya kan? Okay, now they already assigned to the right group, right? Okay, and you can put the labels you want. If you want to change for the according to the range, you can simply put replace the name low income, lower middle income with the range. Okay, so you will have both GDP group and its range. I think I'm referring to the different pictures because my laptop have different pictures as compared to this one. I'm sorry about that, but the concept is just like that. I hope you guys can get it. If you are not a fan of pandas, you want to try something else, you can use if else function and you also will get the same thing. Okay, I guess that's all for the hands-on about brief how to use pandas. There are actually many ways of us to get the answer, but you don't have to memorize the code because what matters is we know what we want and we always can Google it on how to do it. It just we have to clear ourselves what we want. Okay. By the way, we don't want to have so many GDP bin, right? So many groups. So you can remove it using the syntax that I already shared with you just now. So it's end of part 1. If there is any question. Is it okay, Pak Sweka?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, do I have any time or already over the time?
Yeah, I think it's already past the time.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. You can stop me just now.
Yeah, I think I forgot to watch the timer because I'm too exciting to follow the material. Because
Okay,
I'm technical guys as well.
I see, I see. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I'm just sharing with you guys. For the just now it's for the first hands-on. I already enclosed in the materials that you email to the participant this exercise. Since I don't have any extra time, I'm also excited to talk, to share these things. We can go to the second examples. I name it s3.python exercise 2. You can run this data, these examples. This data, we read it from GitHub. Mr. Ahmad Nazmi shared you just now how to read data from GitHub, right? You can check the data. Give me another 7 minutes. Okay, this is the raw data from GitHub. And the data, if you notice, it's separate by the separator. And you can try this method on how to call the data. And you just can run this syntax to the bottom on how to index the data, print on the occupation. Actually, the data is about occupation. We can have quick run here. Okay. If, as I mentioned just now, if you want to see the first 25, the last 10 entries, and what is the observation of the, what is the length of the data, you can simply run and understand it. If you have any question, you can ask me further. I include my email at the bottom of the script. I include my email at the bottom of the script. You can always have contact me. And also we provide you some examples in our blog. We have a blog here. Najmi can share at the chat room our blog. In here, under Learn and Lead, we have several coding software that you can venture into our programming Python tablet and SAS. If let's say you go to Python, you can download all the books that we share here. Okay, you can check for the Pandas original sources. You can watch the video tutorial for Python. Okay, and also if just these 2 days we are using Jupyter Notebook, right? Sorry, we are using Google Colab. If you wish to install for Python using Anaconda Jupyter, I include here also the steps on how you can download the software and how to set up the Jupyter Anaconda. I already shared with you the steps, and you can use Python in your own machine. As for myself, I'm using the one that I'm sharing with you just now. This is using Jupyter Notebook. This you can be used without internet connection. Okay. You can contact us if you have anything to ask. Okay, I guess that's all from me, Pak Setia. Sorry for taking extra time.
Thank you, Ms. Nurhuda. Before we continue to the next session, considering the remaining time, we will not take a break, but I need participant to fill out one polling. It is generic survey. It will not take long, only 2 or 3 minutes. I will launch the polling. Appreciate if participant can do the survey. Okay, 1 minute left. We have received 60% of participants. Okay, I will end the polling in a few seconds. Okay, thank you for all participants that have joined the survey. We can continue to next session. The subject is processing and visualization using Python. It will be presented by Mr. Usman Bustaman and Mr. Ranu Yulianto. Pak Bustaman, please.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pak. It's a bit late.
Yes, okay. Yeah, I think running to the Friday afternoon, I think it becomes hot now. Yeah, I can see some fog on your head. Yeah, I see your brain is running faster to catch up the material. So let's take a deep breath first. Refresh our mind, give some space into our brain. Okay, good morning, everyone. Is my voice clear here?
Yes, very clear, Pak.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, let me introduce myself. My name is Usman Bustaman. You can call me Usman. I've been working at PPS Statistics Indonesia for more than 20 years. And in Asian Stats, there is Pak Anang Laksono. He is one of my colleagues when he active in PPS. And thank you for the Asian Stats for conducting this workshop. Okay, this session will be presented in two parts. First part is about the data pre-processing that will be presented by me. And the second part will be presented by my colleague, Pak Ranu Yulianto. He will talk about the data visualization using Python. Hopefully you can enjoy this session and can understand the material. We will present for about, I think, 1.5 hours, yeah, Pak Sweka, yeah. I think it's until 11:30 because this is Friday and we Muslim have to prepare for Friday praying, yeah. Okay, everyone, this session is a little bit advanced than before, but it's still the basic knowledge you have to know. Okay, let's start this session. I will share screen. Before that, in order to follow this session, you have to open your Google Colab and then you can open this link. I will copy it to the chat room. Yeah, just click the link in the chat room and you will go to the yeah, we will go to this one. This file should be used with Google Colab or Jupyter Notebook. Okay, and This file is only for viewing, so the change you made will not be saved by Google. So I recommend you to make a copy of this file using, yeah, you can use a file and save a copy in the drive. So you can use, or the change you make, the change you made will be saved by the Google. Okay, I think we can start the first part of this session. Are you all ready with the file?
I'm copying the file to
Yeah.
my drive.
Okay. Okay. While it is running, I will explain some of the material. We will discuss about data pre-processing. We need to do the data pre-processing because in order to understand the data that we have, so that after we do the pre-processing, the transforming raw data can be used for the next process. Yeah, real world data is often incomplete. Sometimes it was there are noisy in our data, and sometimes also it is inconsistent. We know that data from big data is we said it's big size. We don't know also what's inside the data, so we need this data pre-processing so that we can handle this problem, including the incomplete data. This is, for example, lacking attribute values, lacking certain attribute or containing only aggregate data. And also, we don't know if our data is clear. We have to make sure that there are no errors or outliers in our data. Then we have to make sure also the inconsistency of our data. This is including discrepancies in codes or names. And some of the tests we can do in the data processing is like data cleaning. Is, for example, fill in missing value, smooth the noisy data, identify or remove outliers, and also resolve inconsistencies. And we can also do the data integration using multiple databases, data cubes or files. And we can also do the data transformation, data reduction, and data discretization. I think from the session before, we have discussed about the data cleaning and data integration. So in this session, we will discuss about the data transformation, data reduction, and some of data cleaning. Okay. This is the code we have to type before we can do the data processing, data pre-processing. Yeah, this is the standard code, so that we can use the Google Colab with our data in Google Drive. Yeah, you can run this, and then as before, we will use this data with the name pre-processing. Sorry, I forgot to copy the link of the sample data. Give it to the chat room. Yeah, you can click the data, the link from the chat room. Yeah, after you download, you will have a file named Preprocessing CSV, and you can upload this to your Google Drive, so that we can use this sample data in this session. Okay, after you download, you have to upload it to your Google Drive. Okay. Here is the step. This is we have to on our Google Drive. Click this. Yeah. If it is successful, then this message will appear mounted at content the G drive. Then I have upload the data preprocessing in my folder in my drive. Here. This is can copy the path and take into this. Yeah. Okay. After that, we write this code. This is for naming our data frame from our CSV file. Okay. Sorry. With path here. Yeah. This is the first 5 row in our data. So we can see there are some columns here, and we can know the information about our data frame. We can use this code. This is def market items. Just type def market items dot info. We can see the information about our data frame. There are 16 columns, and this is a data type of every column. The Google Colab automatically assign every column with this data type. When a column is contain only text, then it will be assigned with object data type and the others when there are number. It is sometimes it is assigned integer, sometimes it's assigned as float. Yeah. So in this information, we know that there are 10,000 entries or 10,000 rows of our data, and we have 16 columns. So when we do the data pre-processing, sometimes we don't need some columns. So in this code, we will remove the columns that we will not use. So using this code, we will drop the column name sub ID, subname, sub ID, subname. Yeah. Axis equals 1 is referred to the column. And we run this code. Yeah. If we want to know, we can repeat this code. Yeah, so there are no subname, sub ID in our data frame. Yeah. We can also see if there are missing values in our data using this code. We can use, this is the data frame name dot is null and dot any. So the Google Colabs or Python will search, is there are there any missing values in all of the columns. So use this any, and this is the information. And we know that there are 3 columns with missing value. This is true in cat ID, cat name, and price. So if we think that we don't need this missing value, we can delete it. Here we know that in category ID and the category name, there are missing value there, and we want to delete the data with missing value using this code. We use, this is data frame names, and this is data frame names dot drop na, and this is subset. Subsets means that we command the Python to check the column cat ID and cat name, which consists of a missing value. Yeah. Okay, we can check now how many rows we have using this code. Just I can type set. Now from 1,000 rows, we now only have about 9,964 rows. So the missing value from the column of cat ID and cat name is already deleted from our data frame. So, but if we think that we don't need to delete the missing value, we can impute the missing value with any number. For example, in this case, we impute the missing value with the median of the price. We can see here another column which is have missing value is price. We think the price is a very important column, so we don't know, we don't want to delete the row which is missing. We choose to do the imputation for this missing value. Here we can use the group by method, which is explained before with Ibu Nur Huda. Yeah. We can group by cat ID and price and transform the missing value with median of price within category ID. So this is, and then we can check if there are still the missing value or not. Yeah, so we can see here there are no missing value again. Yeah, every missing value in the price now is replaced by the median of the price along the category ID. Yeah, this is the pre-processing, and then the last one is the data reduction. Sometimes if we have a big size of the from big data, we don't need to use the raw data, but we only need to use the summary of the data, so that it's not necessary to use the raw data, but we only need to the summary of the data. We can use the data reduction. In this case, we want the data frame only consists of mean price of every item in the list. So this from this one. No, this is price from item ID. This is the same item ID. We have 3 same item ID and with same price. But on the other item ID, maybe the price is different. So we will only use the mean price of this item ID. Yeah. So this is the logic for the data reduction. Because we only want the mean price of the item, every item ID. So first we make the item ID unique value. Yeah, a unique value, and we can use this. We can make a new data frame named data market items unique, which is the unique for the item ID. So if there are duplicates, item ID will drop and just keep only one, only the first row of the item ID in the data frame. So this is, we run it. Here, how many rows we get in this unique item? Okay, this shape. Yeah. Yeah. From about 2,000 rows, we now only have about 1,900 rows. Unique item ID. And then the second, we want to calculate the mean price items of every item ID in our data frame. So we can use the group by method, which is explained before. We group by the data frame using item ID and price. And what we can group by the data frame using item ID, and we will calculate the mean of the price of every item ID in this code. Reset index means that we will keep the column name of the result. Okay, and the second code, sorry, I think, yeah, I will show you the result of the first code here. So we here only have two columns, which is this is item ID and price. If we omit this reset index, then we will have the series, not a data frame. Yes, this is a series which consists of min price. So we don't want this series, but we do want the result is in form of data frame. So we add this code reset index. So this is the item ID will not be an index, but it will be a column in a data frame. And this is the min price is the min price is occur with the name oh, sorry. This is double dot. Yeah, this is price, item ID. So in order to have different column with the last data frame, with the old data frame, in this new data frame, we replace, we rename the price column with the new column named new price. Here, we insert the code in place true so that the change of the min price items is already changed. Okay. If we click this, yeah. So here the column of price is now renamed as a new price. And then we exercise the joining method. Here we use the left join from market items unique and the min price item that we do before. Yeah. This is the code. This is the data frame of the result. We will be to the left join using this set index item ID. So we will do the we will merge the two data frames and the Python will be checked based on the same item ID. And in this code, we will drop the column which is not used for the next process, namely model name, price, model sold. And then rename the new price back again into the price name. Yeah. Yeah. So for this is the original column. We still have the model sold. It's very difficult to compare with. Yeah, we don't need this column. So we'll drop the model name, price, and model sold. This is the price from the old data frame. And then we rename the new price back to price with using this code. So we have this reduce data frame. Okay. we see that this index of the data frame is it's a snarl, right? This is from 0 to 3 to 7 to 11 to 15. This is the original index from the raw data we have in the raw data. This is the search row. This is the 7th row. This is the 11th row. So because this is the reduced data frame, so we have to reset the index of the result data frame. So the index will be consecutive value from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So this is the data reduction. So from the raw data with about 10,000 rows, now we only have data reduction, which consists of mean price of the item ID, which only about 1,900 rows. Yeah. Okay. The last section I will present is about dealing with outlier. Pak Ranu will explain about the box plot later, and I will just show you the box plot of our data frame, which is the box plot is grouped by the category ID. We see here that this is the category ID, category of our data, and we see that there are various value in every category ID. So we will deleting the outlier here. So many outlier in this data frame using this code. We have two choice. First, using the standardized or normalized values, and the second, we can use the box plot method. This is the standardized methods. Maybe we can skip this because we don't want to use it. We will use this box plot method. So the box plot method, when it identified the outlier, is using this formula. Lower range is quartile 1 minus 1.5 times interquartile range, and the upper range is quartile 3 plus 1.5 times interquartile range, which is Q1 is first quartile and Q3 is the third quartile. So this is the code we can use. This is the IQR is the range from our data, which is equal to Q3 minus Q1. This is the function to check whether our data is outlier or not. So in this case, we will only use the non-outlier data. So we type this code, which is grouped by the category ID, using the function, using this function. So the code is transform. Transform, this is the lambda function. For every group in this group by method, we do this function. So we will get the not outlier value. There are about 1,725 rows, which is not outlier, and 183 rows, which is outlier. Then we drop the outlier using this code. We run this first. Using this code, we filter the data. This is the market item, which is not outlier. And then draw the box plot. We see from this graph, this is better distribution of the data. Yeah, compared to the first one, this is very variable, very various data here. But in this case, I think we get a better result. Yeah. Okay, I think this is my part. But the outlier we can deal with not only to drop the outlier, but we can do nothing, or we can trimming, or we can do the transformation, or we can also impute the outlier with a certain value. Yeah, I think this is the first part, and the second part will be presented with my colleagues, Pak Ranu. I think you still have half an hour to explain the data visualization. Pak Ranu, the time is yours. You can continue my presentation.
Okay, thank you, Pak Usman.
I will stop share.
Is my are you can hear me clearly? Can my
Yes,
voice?
we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So let me. So in this second part, I will continue using the same Google as Pak Usman. So you can continue with your Google Colab that you already work on. I will talk about data visualization. Data visualization is an aspect that sometimes underestimate in data analysis. But we actually, this is an important step that will help us not only present our result of analysis, but also help us exploring the data that can be shown us when we search for the outlier. So we can use a visualization to help us search for the outlier. Oh, before I continue, please remind me if the time is up, okay? Because I think we have a limited time today. Okay. Next is the common types of visualization that used in data analysis. There are actually a lot of types of visualization, but these 6 are the common one. Name line chart, bar chart, histogram, box plot, and pie chart. And I know that we are all familiar with this type of chart. Okay, in this section, I will talk especially visualization, especially using Matplotlib package in Python. Why using Matplotlib? It is because Matplotlib are basic package that a lot of other packets specialists in visualization built on top of Matplotlib. When we learn about Matplotlib, we can apply our knowledge in another package. So this one will help a lot in the long run. So Matplotlib is a Python library specializing in the development of two-dimensional charts, including three-dimensional chart with a limited support. But in this section, I will only talk about a two-dimensional chart. First, let's talk about Matplotlib architecture. There are three layers, but in the from this three layer, all we need to know actually is the third layer, on the most top layer is the scripting layer. The scripting layer is actually a API that Matplotlib provide to access another two layer. So it will help us for someone that not really a programmer. So someone that come from the analytic background can use Matplotlib easily using this layer called scripting layer that can be accessed by matplotlib.pyplot. So before we talk about the usage of Matplotlib, let's talk about anatomy of the Matplotlib itself. Matplotlib, there are a figure. A figure we can call figure or a paper on the or canvas where the plot will be drawn. And in the figure, we can have one or more axes, where the axis itself is the plot. So we can have more than one plot in a single figure or in single paper or in single canvas. If we have more than one, then the axis can be called a subplot. The axis itself contains axis. Because we talk about a two-dimensional plot, then there are two axes, namely x-axis and y-axis. This in the second picture is the breakdown of the anatomy of figure. There are figure, axis, or the plot. The axis itself can contain, except axis, they can contain text. Number 3, that text is the title. The number 4 are text. This one is called annotation, and the line 3D that represent our data. So we will talk about each one of this part later. So it's a little summarization about the anatomy of the figure. So let's jump into the code. Before we use Matplotlib, we need to import the package. There are two ways to import the Matplotlib. The first one or the second one, it's the same basically. And we import it as PLT. Why PLT? because it is a standard way to refer pyplot interface that used widely by Matplotlib user. You can import it as another name, but let's stick with it to avoid confusion. And the first one is how to plot a simple plot. So we use this function plt.plot and assign our data to be plotted in the graph. So the Matplotlib will take our data. If we only assign one array of data as our parameter in plot function, it will take the value and make it a y value. So this one 1, 2, 3, 4 will be assigned in the y value 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the x value, the Matplotlib will automatically assign value from 0 until the length of the data that we provide, because there are 4 data, so 0, 1, 2, and 3. So let's try 0.5. So if we change the second value to 2.5, this one will change the data. Will change the plot. I'm sorry. First, we will talk about figure and subplot. Matplotlib.figure module can contain figure class. It is a top-level container for all plot elements or axes. As mentioned before, that figure are like a canvas or paper where our plot or axis will be drawn to. And we can access the figure object by calling figure function from the pyplot module. So this one, to access the figure object, because we don't assign any access or any plot to the figure, it doesn't show us anything. And there are 2 ways to create access in Matplotlib: using pyplot directly or using object-oriented API. Access can be created using pyplot with plt.subplot function. This function takes 3 integers as argument to arrange the plot in figure. For example, this 2 line of code, this will create 2 plot for us and arrange it according to these 3 arguments that we provide. This will create a figure with 3 rows. 3 rows, this one, 2 columns, the second argument, and this plot will be assigned in the first place, and the second row, this will create a figure with 3 rows, 2 columns, and set this axis or this plot to the fourth place. This argument 3 to 1 is same as with plt.subplot 3, 2, 4, but with this kind of argument, we cannot have a rows and column more than 9, because with this type of argument, we can only provide 3 digit of integer. So let's try to run it now. We create a 3 row and 2 columns because the third and assign the plot to the figure. The first plot here is this one. So the sorting method is from the top left to and moving to the right, and then to the second right one. So this is the place. So there are 2 column here because there are no plot in the third row. So the third row not shown in this figure. But if we even though we assign 2 rows and 2 columns because there are only one plot, so there will be the only plot that shown. So let's move to the object-oriented API. The object-oriented API basically we will add the plot step by step. From first we create the figure and add the plot to the specific figure using the add subplot method from the figure object. So first we create the figure object and assign it to variable named fig and add subplot to this figure object. This parameter is same as this one or this one. So the logic here is same. After we assign the plot to the figure, then we can plot our data using the plot function. So let's try run this code. There are 2 subplot or plot in our figure that plot data that we give in the parameter. Using Matplotlib, we can easily change the color, marker, and lens style of our graph. So there are how to customize our figure or our plot, right? First one, we can specify the column, the colors. Sorry. Matplotlib recognizes the following formats to specify the column. So we can use either of this format to specify the column. And this one is a named column. Sorry, named column that can be recognized by the Matplotlib. Here's some example. So we create a figure, set the size of the figure, width, set the width by 10 inch and 7 inch for the height. Then we set the face color of the figure. The face color, it represent this one, the background, because the figure is the canvas. So the most, so our paper basically we change the color of our canvas or paper to this value. This value is the this value is the first format Matplotlib recognize using RGB value. Then we add two subplot. We first assign the data to our first plot. And with this parameter, color, we can assign the color of our data or line to be a chocolate color. And then we can set the face color of our plot using hexadecimal of RGB value. So this one is change the color of the plot face color. And then for the second plot, we make a bar chart using this value. So if for a line chart, we only need to supply one array of data. But in the bar plot, we need to specify the X value and Y value. So after we specify, we change the color of the plot to be cyan or darker cyan. See, and tick parameter. This one tick are the value that represent a data point in axis, either in x-axis or y-axis. So the tick param, we change the color of the tick to be orange. This one. Yeah, there are a different format that we can use in color parameter in Matplotlib. Next one, I will talk about markers. Markers are used by both marker functionality of plot and scatter plot to represent the data point. So this one data point, we can assign a marker to individual data point here. Let's run this example. This example, actually we create a data with NumPy as mentioned in the previous section. Previous section, I think by Mr. Gary yesterday, that we can create data with NumPy using arrange function, and then we plot our data using a plot method. This one, the second parameter are line style. This one a line style, and then marker style. Marker style, we can refer to this picture, or represent to a circle type of marker. And MEC is basically a marker edge color. We set it to be blue, and marker face color to be red. So let's try it run. So there are our data represented by this plot, but because we specify line style to be blank, so there are no line in our data. Instead, we specify the marker or the data data point here will be represented by circle marker with the edge color to be blue and the fill color is red. Next, I will talk about line style. A simple line style can be defined using string, solid, dotted, dashed, and dash dot. But more refined control can be achieved by providing a dash tuple. The first value of the tuple are the offset, and the second value are a tuple that represent on-off sequence. So let's try run. We create our data, we plot it, and give the color like coral to our line, line white. So the white of the color. So if we change it to 9 or 6, it will be bigger. And the line style. Here are how to read this value is basically we create the line with 0 offset, with 3-point line, then 1 point of space, 1 point of line, and 1 point of space. So this one is 3 point of line, 1 point of space, 1 point of line, and 1 point of space. After that, it repeated itself until the end of our line. So if, for example, we change the value here to be 4, so this one is 3 point of line, 1 point of space, 4 point of line, and 1 point of space. So it can be repeated but we can also represent using the string solid, dotted, and dashed. It's basically using solid. This is a dash line. So we can choose using either a string representation or we want to be precise with using this value. Okay, to put it all together, we actually pretty simple. We can plot the first value and the first argument, is our data, and the second argument our line style. The first one represent the color, the second one represent the line style, and the third array here, a third string here represent the marker style. So this is just a shortcut if we want to change the color of line and the marker altogether. So, but we can also using this style individually. So let's jump to tick, label, and legend. A tick basically our representation of our data. So this. So there are a difference between ticks and tick label. Ticks are the value, and the ticks label are the representation of the value. So we set this X ticks to be a 0, 2, 4, and 6. But the label we set to be a string representation of this value. So 0, 2, 4. But if we change 4 to be 3, the string 4 will be shifted to the left because this represent a 3 value. So it's around here. Let's change back to the book. Okay. The next are the label. The label can be set by using setXLabel function or setYLabel function. So we set our X label to be sine wave. We can also change the font size and the color of our label to be gray and the font size to be 12. Okay, the next are legend. The legend describing element of the graph. In Matplotlib library, there are function called legend, which is used to place a legend on the axis or on the plot. And we can specify the location of our legend using string upper left, upper right, lower left, and lower right to specify the place where we will put our legend. So let's take this one for example. This one same as above. And we set the title of our plot, which is this one. This one is the title of our plot. And the legend, we set the sine wave and the n located on the lower left. So the legend will be located in the lower left of our plot. Here we manually assign the label of our legend. But if we already assign the label for our data here, we don't need to assign the label for the legend. So we only need to call the legend function. If we doesn't supply the location parameter, the log parameter, the Matplotlib will try to put our legend to the best location, which is in this case our upper right. This one is for legend. So the legend can handle. We can have one or more plot in our subplot. So let's take this one for example. So there are two data that plotted in the single plot or single axis. So we can make a separated legend for its data and place it in here and lower right and upper right. The next one is annotation and drawing on subplot. Annotation basically we can put a string or drawing in our plot. We can specify the location of our point where our drawing will be put in our plot. So let's take this one for example. So we put this string I'm on the center to be located in 3.0. So this one is a 3 for x-axis and 0 for y-axis. So 3.0. But the positional or the coordinates function for the point can be specified individually, but the default is that data. The data basically we this value represent the value of our data. So 3 or 0. But there are other coordination function, a coordination function that can be used, such as figure point, figure pixel, figure fraction, access point, and this are the description of its coordinate system. But the default is data. We can also drawing in our plot using annotate function with the basic drawing function using bbox and arrow props attribute. So there are a long code, but I think I will not explain it. But it will show us the capability of Matplotlib to annotate the plot. There are a lot of ways to annotate our plot. So let's jump into the visualization using Pandas. And why using Pandas? Because Pandas are a popular library that will help us configure our data, like the example above, to preprocess or to merge our data. And in Pandas, there are a bridge function. So the function that from Pandas that can be accessed Matplotlib function. This one for example. So we take our filtered data. This one is data that come from preprocessing. So we plot our filtered data, and we group by a category name, and we want to plot the price data. So we can see there are the mean value of each category from our data. There are 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. And there are a category in x-axis and the average price in y-axis. We can also customize our x-axis. We can rotate it, and so we can easily read the axis. Next one are box plot. Box plot will usually will help us to find the outlier value as shown in the previous section. So we take, for example, the category 32, which is pakaian wanita. So the average, so this box plot represented the price of pakaian wanita with mean value, median, quartile 1 and quartile 3, and minimal and maximum value of price in pakaian wanita category. This one we also want to show means of our plot. So this dot here are the mean of our price. The next one, a pie chart. So if we plot the data as it is, the plot will be very messy. So we need to group to clean it up. So basically, I take the top 5 sort category and then assign the other category into the others. This is more readable. And we can also customize our pie chart. It's simple customizing using exploit. So this exploit basically we want to the second value to be exploded or to be this far from our center point. Because our second value are perlengkapan rumah or represented by the orange chart here. So the orange chart will be slightly exploded to the outer of the pie chart. And the next are line chart and histogram. Okay, because our data is not suitable for line chart and histogram, I will try to use iris data from sklearn dataset. So in sklearn package, we can import a few data, and one of them are iris. Iris data is basically data about the length of the sepal width, petal length, and petal width that grouped by different species. There are 3 species: Sentosa, versicolor, and virginica. If before I using plot function from pandas directly, such as this one. So this one is the data frame, and then we call plot function. But there are other way to plotting our data frame, which is to create our figure, subplot, and then we plotting manually our data frame. This one. So if we run it, this will plotting sepal length against sepal width from its for its species. So we can see if there are so but before we plot it, we need to sort the value by sepal length. Why? Because we assign sepal length as our x value, x axis. So we need to sort it first. Otherwise, our plot will become very messy. And this one is basically sum as this one, but we plot a histogram, the same length and the same width. Okay, I think this is enough for me because the time is very limited. But if you want to learn more, there are always documentation from the Matplotlib that can be accessed by this URL. I will share it in the chat box. And apart from Matplotlib, there are a lot of other library for visualization. There are Cbron, ggplot, and geoplot.lib. This one is the famous beside the Matplotlib. Okay, I think it's enough. I will okay, I think it's enough, Mr. Sweka.
Okay, thank you, Pak Usman and Pak Rano for the presentation. Very sorry, due to time limitation, the presentation need to be shortened. All colleagues, finally we come to end of our first part workshop. Firstly, I would like to express my thanks to all of our trainers that have prepared the material and share their experience to us. I want to thanks as well to participants that have spent their time to join and support the workshop. As you may have been noticed that this session is the first of three part of workshop. Next session will be on June. To ensure effectiveness of the workshop, we highly recommend that the same participant will join the next session, and I will be glad to meet you all again. Okay, it is time for me to close this workshop. See you again in next session. Goodbye. Please stay safe and stay healthy. Goodbye.
Thank you, Mr. Sweka.
Bye. Thank you very much, Pak Sweka.
You're welcome.